Come down. Ooh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. Never have to cut you out like right now. You see, I don't have to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke some. Me try the marijuana. I was never you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they feeling strange. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip. Yeah, you
Welcome to a special edition of Seahawks Man to Man, a YouTube exclusive. My name is Michael-Shawn You guys can follow me on whatever Elon Musk is calling that app these days. My @ name has not changed. It's also at the bottom of the screen. At Mike Dugar, MikeDugar. Before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Seahawks Man to Man is the name of the channel. Do the same thing on our Instagram, Seahawks Man to Man, and on TikTok as well, Seahawks Man to Man. Thank you in advance for all of that love and support. Chris, go ahead and talk to him.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Christopher Kidd. You can follow me on Twitter at CKIDD206, and that's CKid206.
All right, we're back with our standout plays from the previous week. There's week 7, Seahawks win over the Atlanta Falcons. A lot of good on both sides of the ball. I decided to be positive this week. I waxed and waned on that decision, and I'll explain that later. Chris, who's going first this week? You or
I got you, man. I can go first. I have no problem with it. So Mike and I have been talking about, well, at least in the post game last week, we talked about how the defense in the second half for the Seahawks was far better in stopping the run and getting after Kirk Cousins. And you saw that the Seahawks had 3 turnovers. So it wasn't a mirage that actually happened. They did a much better job. And when I went back and watched the film, there's a couple of plays that stood out to me off the jump. And I think I will go over them in detail as to what stood out to me from the play and why it was so good to see the defense taking this next step, especially in a game where Bijan Robinson was finding his rhythm in that first half. He was confident. They were running the football pretty effectively. He was able to make guys miss in the backfield. And then, Mike, do you remember the quote that Leonard Williams told you after the game about how they're going to play in the second half regarding stopping the run against the offensive line?
Yes. Yeah. You want me to read it or just paraphrase it?
Well, could you? I mean, if you could find it quickly, then yes. But if not, paraphrase what he said. I know the gist of it was getting off the tackles and making a play in the backfield as opposed to sideline to sideline.
Of course, I have it handy. Of course. I didn't even know you'd want it either, but I have it. Quote is, I asked Leonard after the game. I said, what was the key to stopping the run, particularly their wide zone, perimeter running game, which they had been killing them with, as Chris alluded to. What was the key to stopping that in the second half? Leonard said, and I quote, just stop running lateral. At one point in the game, they tried to get our D-line running sideways. We finally got to a point where we checked in with each other, and we were just like, let's get vertical. Let's knock blocks back. The running backs, they were really good at trying to stay alive, so we were always talking about that second, third, and fourth man in, end quote.
There you go. So that explains exactly what the Seahawks wanted to do in the second half, and this is the first play of the second half. And you could see Leonard Williams, the guy that spoke about what he wanted to do with the defense and how they needed to play better. He is the first person to make a tackle for a loss to start the second half. He is strong and he just bullies the tackle and throws him off and is able to make the tackle for a loss. And again, this is the start the second half. So just watch number 99 when the play is snapped, he stands him up and is vertical, sees where Bijan wants to go, uses his strength and leverage, and just moves the tackle out the way and stops Bijan Robinson for a no gain. This is exactly what I'm sure Mike McDonald wants to see more of consistently, because when they're running those wide zone gaps runs, the defenders love to chase. They got caught up in chasing after, and in those scenarios, it just opens up lanes. In the second half, they stood guys up. Everybody is standing dudes up. So I'm going to pause it. Look at the flow of it. Gaps are filled. I'm getting nervous with Jerome Baker there, but I think he's doing his job for the most part. But look at Leonard handling his business here. He sees where Bijan is at. His eyes are in the backfield. He has control of the offensive tackle there, and he's about to make a play. And as we roll it, throws him off of him and makes a play. And then you also see on the back end, Derek Hall getting in there as well. So this was just a better effort, better understanding of what they needed to do defensively to slow down the run game. And I thought that was really huge in the second half, because if you can't stop the run, it just opens up so many problems for your defense, especially in the second half when this team has the capability to still run the football, because at this point it's still 17-7. The game is not out of hands quite yet. You guys understood, though, it did get quite out of hand later on in the game. But I want to get to the second play here. And this is Draymond Jones. Draymond Jones, he's been, I don't know if that's fair criticism, because they're paying this guy a lot of money and he just hasn't been as effective as you would think the guy making $55 million for 3 years would be through so far with the Seahawks. He signed that deal, what was it, 2 years ago, and he hasn't lived up to that name quite yet, his contract, that is. And I thought on Sunday against the Falcons, he had his best performance. Mike, I don't know where you stand on that, but I thought his activity was good for the most part. And I think he just did a phenomenal job defensively at setting the edge and just being aggressive, being the guy that they knew he could be and what they signed him to do. So this play is third quarter as well, because as I mentioned, their run on getting defensive stops really kicked in the third quarter. Although they did score on their first drive, there were a lot of good examples of this defense figuring things out and being better in certain situations. And this is a third quarter play as well. 9:15 left in the third. And on this specific one, as you can see here, the Seahawks are in their nickel package. So you have Devin Witherspoon over there at the top of your screen next to, I want to say that's Nehemiah Pritchard. And then on the bottom of your screen, you have Job, Julian Love. And then at the top, the other safety, I believe that is Kayvon Wallace. Oh, it's Kobe, excuse me. Kobe Bryant. So as we roll it, the one thing you want to do is be able to set the edge. And if you set the edge, you create problems for defenses, especially if they're trying to run it outside. And in this, you can see Kyle Pitts has no chance of slowing Draymond Jones down. There's just nothing he can do. Draymond Jones is able to stand him up, something that Leonard Williams talked about, going vertical with the offensive players and keeping them out of position. And in this scenario, he just walks him back, holds his position. Bijan comes right to him. He's able to get his arm out and bring him down. That is spectacular football. That's all you got to be able to do when you're run defending, is set the edge. And that's why some people aren't in Seahawks uniforms anymore, because of their inability to do this right here, setting the edge and then make the play. That's another tough thing to do, is setting the edge and then making the play. Mike McDonald would have been cool with him just setting the edge. You did your job. Getting the tackle for a loss, that is what you call extra credit. I'm sure in high school or even in grade school, when you took tests, sometimes they give you a little extra credit at the end of the test. Well, Draymond Jones here got extra credit here for making the play for a loss. It's great that he was able to do it. Was that expected? No, but they need you to set the edge, and that's exactly what he did. And then for my final play, you guys guessed it. Of course, I had to go with the sack fumble. How could I not? This was just obviously a play where Mike has talked about, I think in training camp, Mike was talking about how powerful Derek Hall has been against his own teammates, of just pushing guys back. Derek Hall is at the bottom of your screen, number 58. I want you to just watch what he does to the right tackle. Just unbelievable power. And in this scenario, I know I talked about Kirk Cousins earlier when we did our one big thing. I joked around with Mike about Kirk Cousins not being able to move out of the pocket. I'll give him credit. He tried to get away here, but he wasn't able to. Just look at the power that Derek Hall brings, that forces Kirk Cousins out to the left side. Boye Mafe is able to get off his block, and then he just lights up Kirk Cousins, forces a fumble, and then Derek Hall gets his touchdown. And this just blew open the game. At this point, the Seahawks were in full control. Momentum was on their side. I think the defense just took the next step, and hopefully they can do this more consistently. Now they have a big test coming up against, you guessed it, Josh Allen. So that's going to be one hell of a test, but this just shows when they're locked in, they can be a really tough defense. And I want to also give credit to the secondary. Everything is blanketed. There's not much space for him to throw. You could say, oh, you could hit the guy that's about to hit a corner route near the 30. Yeah, you probably could, but that's either getting picked off and or it's going to be a bang play. There's just no room. The pockets collapse. He's rolling out to his left. I don't know who he's throwing to, but dare I say he's trying to get probably Drake London. Drake has a little bit of separation there at the sticks. Maybe the defender could recover, but again, Boye Mafe hustles, dives at him, makes a really good sack and a play, knocks it away, fumble, you got it. Derek Hall picks it up for 6. Those are my 3 standout plays from the Seahawks victory against the Atlanta Falcons.
I think the right tackle that he beats there is a kid from the Huskies. Let me look that up.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
O'Shea.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yep, Caleb McGarry. There we go. Yeah,
Mm.
you know I gotta throw some Husky shade
You didn't
in
have to,
there.
but I hear you.
You're right. I didn't have to. I chose to. He won the Apple Cup this year. I can do that. It was Draymond's most productive game. To your point, at 4 QB hits. That is a Seahawk career high for Draymond. To your point about him having his best game. I'm gonna go with the offensive side of the ball. Chris, you can throw that in there for me. I'm gonna throw some. You can just spin it while I talk over some numbers here. So DK, I don't think will play on Sunday. I am not expecting him to. I could
Mm.
obviously be wrong about that, but dude ain't practiced all week. He got an MCL sprain. It's week 8. He's listed doubtful at the time of this recording. So I'm expecting him to not play. So my analysis this week is kind of shaped by that thought. So let's start there. I don't think he'll play. The other thing one thing that's notable, if we anticipate DK does not play against Buffalo, from watching the tape of the Falcons game, is how they were able to use play action to generate explosives for other guys. Because what DK's cheat code is that he's so fast. So he doesn't need a lot of time to generate explosive. You just, hike the ball, take a couple steps back, and then he can just run by people. We've seen it. Both a couple of his touchdowns this year, it didn't take that long to develop. Maybe a hitch or two, and then he just runs by guys. That's what he's good at. Everyone else, though, needs some time. Tyler, JSN, Noah, even Bobo, they all need time to get downfield to generate the explosives. So I'm gonna read some numbers here because this is important, I think, and this has to change. I asked Mike McDonald about it today, kind of brushed it off. It's okay, it doesn't matter. The Seahawks rank 31st in play action dropback rate at 15.8%. That's awful. The only team that's worse than them is the Atlanta Falcons. So those two, we just watched the two the teams that use play action the least, which I don't like. And the Seahawks actually, Chris, used play action on 30% of their dropbacks against the Falcons. So they doubled their average in this game alone, which really stood out. And you can see it when you watch the tape too. I mean, literally their first play was a play action dropback. And you saw all the different ways they were trying to get their play action game: shotgun, 12 personnel, under center. And so I don't think that was an accident because, and this is what this applies to the Falcons game and to the Buffalo game. The Falcons have a defense, the way it's structured is, let's keep a lid on it. No explosives. We don't want you running by us. Like, that's the plan, right? And the Bills kind of do a very similar thing. They keep a lid on it, play a lot of too high looks. Even if they rotate down to cover 3, which the Falcons did quite a bit, they still want to keep a lid on everything, right? So how do you get explosives? Well, you can run the ball, which they did, or you can play action stuff and try to kill them, with not like paper, death by 1,000 cuts or whatever. It's not like that. These are little deeper stabs, when you hit some of these play action stuff. And I think these are going to be really important because these are going to be how you generate. This is how they were able to generate good looks for guys, even if they didn't hit against Atlanta, and how I think they should attack the Bills. So this is kind of a 2-parter, recappy and preview look. So let's start with literally the first play of the game. I believe this is. We're in 11 personnel. The Falcons are kind of showing a one high look. Geno's under center. Now we got the little run fake here, and watch JSN in the slot here. He's between the hash and the 30. Looks like he's got a nickel or whoever following him across the field. But look at the top of Geno's drop right here. If Geno's not getting pressured, he's got a chance to just hit this. This is a hit. Like, this is a well-designed play for the look they had and everything. Like, this is success. I know it doesn't end up like that, but it's not because of the play call. It's mostly because Connor, as I'll show from the end zone view, is beat off rip, and Ken Walker doesn't pick up the blitz very well. So that's why Geno ends up having to adjust on this. But just in terms of play call, design, get Jackson involved, which is what everyone wants. Get him involved in stuff other than bubble screens, which I'm sure everyone wants. I can't speak for Chris, I guess, in that regard, but everyone but Chris would want that. So this is a good design, good play, good call. It ends up getting thrown off because of the timing, and you can see the timing of it thrown off here. Watch 55, Caden Ellis, their blitzer, and then number 90, who's got a name I don't know. But those guys kind of wreck this play off the play action. Yeah, I mean, come on, what are we doing here? This is bad. Geno, so it gets to the top of his drop, doesn't have a clean look. Geno maybe could have thrown it here, but it's just the rush is hitting you that fast. I understand why he tried to get a cleaner foundation to make a throw and why he throws it upfield there. You can kind of see what Gino's seeing here, why he would not just throw it on a line, because the corner might undercut this. So I can see why he kind of let him upfield on that. And at that point, the play is just kind of dead. This is another instance of play action. I think this one ends up going to Noah. I wrote down this one. This is early down play action, I think in the first half. So we're doing this out of 12 personnel, which I also think is noticeable because you're probably going to get a lot of 12 personnel against the Bills if DK doesn't play. It's just kind of natural. Yeah, you can play Bobo more, but 12 personnel kind of becomes your bread and butter, I think, if you don't have DK on Sunday. So you got 12 personnel here. We got Noah and Farrell Brown are in the game. We're under center again. Noah is off the ball, is on the hash toward the top of the screen there. So we play fake once again. That's a really good route by Noah, by the way.
I posted it. Did you see it on Twitter?
I did see you post that. Yeah, this was
a nasty route.
Yeah, it's a really, really good route. But you see how it gives Noah time to get open, because Noah's not a speedster, right? It's not his bag. Most tight ends aren't like that, right? Unless you're like Kyle Pitts. So this was key because you get time. Gino hits his back leg. He's much cleaner this time, though not super clean, because I think that's his right guard is beat this time. Just rough stuff up front. Up front today was not, or on Sunday was not the cleanest. But anyway, we talked about that already. But he's got a much cleaner look. Noah obviously wins on his route. This was another instance. I'm gonna go back to the top of this, where they showed two safeties, Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons, and then looks like they rotated one of them down. Yeah, looks like they rotated Simmons down. You're going to see Buffalo probably do a lot of this as well, particularly on early downs. Show two, but then rotate DeMar Hamlin or Taylor Rapp into the box to try to stop those runs on early downs. Here's a perfect way to counteract that. Get Noah involved in the passing game on early downs. Play action is a great way to do it because Noah's a good route runner. He is. When he just needs a little bit more time, everyone does than DK. DK runs 4.3, right? There's no knock on needing more time to get open, but they can get open, which is the point that I'm trying to make here. So these these are great designs. I thought by Grubb, I thought it was necessary. There's no reason on God's green earth the Seahawks should be last in play action rate. I don't need them to be first, right? They don't need to be the Lions or whoever, but last is just stupid. It really is. Get that number to the middle of the pack, please. And here's how you can do it. This also helps your O-line too, so they're not just getting guys rushing straight up the field. They got to have their guys play blocks first. So yeah, much cleaner. Boom. Maybe Gino leads him a little bit more. It doesn't matter. Explosive. What's this? This last one. Oh, I love this one, actually. I wanted to show this as well because our first two examples were good play designs. They were both from under center, right? One from 11 personnel, one from under 12 personnel with two tight ends. This one is at 11 personnel, but then we're in the shotgun. So you don't even have to just be totally having Gino turn his back to the defense, because that can be dangerous when you have defenses rotating safeties down and changing the look. That is dangerous, I understand. If I'm Gino, I don't want that. That's probably why their number is so low. Gino and Grubb probably won't say it, but turning your back to the defense in today's game is super dangerous because there's so much rotating, so much disguising. You want that picture to be, you want your quarterback to not be fooled at all, see things develop, which is probably why Gino has so many dropbacks out of empty, because empty really undresses the defense. There's only so much disguising you can do when we spread you out, put 5 eligibles out there at the receiving spots, and you can only disguise so much out of empty, right? So it's probably why Gino likes it so much, and he's good at it as well. So we get another too high look. I believe this is also them rotating a safety down. Yeah, they rotate Jesse Bates down. So the guy we're watching here, this ends up being a deep shot. That's incomplete to Jackson, who's in motion at the top of the screen. So we get motion and play action. Attaboy, Grubb. Attaboy, Grubb. There we go. Doing your thing. No more screens, though. We're heading in the right direction, my brother. Good for you, Ryan. So watch JSN. Motion at the top. We get a little play action fake to Ken Walker. You get the underneath coverage to bite up a little bit. So this rotates a single high. Looks like the nickel or whoever they have. Just probably his assignment is supposed to hey, carry the number 2 vertical is probably his assignment. Doesn't matter. But Jackson, wins just like Noah does. At first, I was like, why would Gino lead him upfield like that? And then I watched it again, and I was like, oh, it's probably because he's afraid of it getting undercut, just like he was on the other one, which I'm okay with. But you see the play action fake. Look at this, clean. Look at this, Chris. This is clean. This is
Beautiful.
what Geno can get to when you got the play action. I think it's really helpful. It's gonna help your O-line. This ends up being a really ugly 4-man rush. But look, everyone's blocked up. We're good. He's got a clean platform, can scan the field, got the one-on-one with Jackson down the field, something that's not a bubble screen. Love it, Grubb. Love it. You guys can sense a theme here today with the standout plays, and then makes a throw. I wouldn't have minded. Look at DK right here, just like touchdown. DK's faith. He was wrong, but I love his faith here. I wouldn't have minded if Gino would have led him a little bit on this, but I can see again why he threw the ball upfield as well. This is probably also a pass interference.
Not probably it is, Mike.
Yeah. So it's like pretty egregious. Look at right here. Yo, there's a reason Jackson can't lift his arm up, man. Like
He was tackled.
yeah, it's just like, you're right. I shouldn't say probably. It's a huge pass interference call that they miss on this play, yo. I
Pretty
didn't keep
bad.
this in real time, but yeah, it's a massive pass interference. But
Yeah, I saw the
anyway,
replay. Yeah, it was bad.
with irregardless, this was a really good, again, another good design to get someone down the field that's not DK to get those explosives. I think that in the future they run this. I'll just run them all right now, but you run these type of plays against Buffalo, I think you'll get the explosives because I think Buffalo and Atlanta have the similar philosophy. They're gonna make you try to just slow play your way down the field, run it, 7-yard pass, 5-yard pass, convert on third down, run it, convert on third down. Like they're gonna make you slow play it. Atlanta likes to do the same thing, but you see, they were able to generate explosive looks. Now, not all these were complete, but the looks were clean, right? Like from the play design standpoint. Obviously, if there's no blocking, no play works. But you can see how the blocking would work. And when it does work, where Gino's got the clean platform, can make the throws, how it takes advantage of whatever they show. If they go single high, show 2, and go to 1, whatever, you're going to get one-on-ones somewhere. And you just got to have your guys win. You know, I love this JSN. Look at this JSN route, Chris. I love that. Both him and Noah just using the DB's leverage against him, just turning them one way. Excuse me. Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah. That was great. Gino probably could throw that a little sooner and just lasered it in there or lead him upfield for a touchdown. Again, I don't have a problem either way. I'm looking at it again. I was like, I have much more of a problem with this not being PI. But the design, I'm focused on the design and the looks because these were all, I love these from Grubb. There was a couple other play action shots too that DK caught one and dropped the other. So like I could have showed those too, but he, like I said, I don't think he'll play. So I wanted to use these examples because these are the plays. And you can insert Tyler into these. Bobo, I think you can run these for AJ Barner, Derek Young. I think when these quote unquote long developing things like this, I think that, more guys can run this stuff. Like you can run one of these to Derek Young for 16 yards randomly. You know what I mean? You can run one of these to LaVisca for 14 yards on 1st and 10 or 2nd and 8. Like I think there's a lot of possibilities when you get in your play action bag a little bit more, whether it's out of shotgun, whether it's out of under center, whatever it is. I just don't think the Seahawks can be doing it 15% of the time or 15.8, whatever the number I said earlier is. That's just not good enough because you got guys who can run routes. Yeah. I mean, shoot, even on the bottom of the screen here, peep Tyler on this one right here, bottom of the screen. He's on the backside of the play, but he's open for a first down. Like these concepts. I really feel like if Grubb decides this game like he did against the Falcons, if he decides against Buffalo, I'm gonna get in my play action bag today. They'll have a really good day, even if DK doesn't play. Which again, I don't expect him to. If he does, that would surprise me. But yeah, there's ways to get explosives without him through the air, and I think play action to Jackson, Noah, Tyler. Those are really going to be key on Sunday. So those are my standout plays. Yes, Grubb basically was just hollering at you the whole time there, but warranted, I feel like, because he's got it. That's the blueprint, I feel like, is get under center, get in shotgun, get in your play action bag, take advantage of it on early downs with those safety rotations that you're going to see. I guarantee you'll see them on Sunday, and try to get the ball to Noah and Jackson on something other than a screen. I pray. Chris, the first time he runs a screen to one of those dudes on Sunday, I might cry in the press box.
Because it's a touchdown. That's why you're going to cry.
Oh, my God. I don't know. So I'll do something. I'll do something for somebody. I might buy somebody an athletic subscription or something like that if Jackson or Noah scores on a screen pass on Sunday. I really might. Actually, I will. Because I just don't see that happen. But this Grubb instead, play action, Get your guys involved down the field, even if you don't have DK. I think there's a recipe there that Atlanta showed because, again, I think they have similar identities on defense. Buffalo's going to do the same thing, I think. This is how you exploit it through the air. Grubb, you're welcome in advance.
Well, without getting into a debate about screens and everything, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Seahawks Man-to-Man Standout Plays as we go back and looked at the film against the Atlanta Falcons. We have a busy week coming up because, on Monday, we'll have a post-game show for you after the Seahawks and Buffalo Bills game. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's Seahawks Man to Man. And then we're also on TikTok, Seahawks Man to Man, and Instagram, Seahawks Man to Man. So plenty of content for you guys through the season, and we hope you're enjoying it. Mike, is there anything you'd like to add before we get out of here?
Yeah, just the audio plug. We're on all where podcasts are available. We are Seahawks Man to Man, our most recent show with our one big thing from the Falcons game. That's live everywhere. In that same episode, we talked to the homie Catherine Fitzgerald. She covers the Bills for the Buffalo News. She gave us a great breakdown of how the Bills have succeeded thus far and how they may try to succeed again against the Seahawks on Sunday. So make sure you check that out as well. Until then, we'll catch you post game on Sunday. Peace.
Perfect.